Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Money, Real Business podcast. I'm Lauren, and today we have Nolan and Levi on the show, and they are selling an Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. Hey Nolan and Levi, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey Lauren, doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing fantastic. Really looking forward to this interview. It certainly sounds like you've got a really interesting business on your hands. Can't wait to learn more about it. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty details, I'm going to give the listeners a brief overview of the business so they have a better idea of what we're talking about. As I mentioned, this is an Amazon FBA business. It was created in March 2019, and it's in the beauty and personal care niches. The average revenue for the business is $166,814 per month, and it makes an average of $32,776 per month in net profit. The assets that are included with the business are an Amazon Seller Central account with 29 SKUs, a domain and all site content and files, supplier relationships, Shopify and Walmart accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok social media accounts, trademarks, and an email list with 9,900 subscribers. Please note that inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to verified buyers. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 69152 to learn more about this business. Or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that we have all of that out the way, let's dive into the details. Nolan and Levi, can you fill us in on your background in starting and running online businesses?
Yeah, so Levi and I, we've got kind of an interesting story. We grew up not far from each other, but didn't meet or know of each other until we got to college. And we were in the same program at the university. And over the first 2 years, we just became really good friends. And we each kind of had our own side hustles that we would work on in our spare time, like reselling books and flipping items on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, that sort of thing. And we got to talking about sophomore year, junior year of college, and we wanted to start a business together. And Amazon FBA was getting really big at the time. And we actually purchased a course on private labeling and decided to go in 50-50 and start a business together. And a little over 4 years later, here we are. So that's kind of the background of how we got into this and how we met.
Yeah, that's a great story. It's great that it's always easier to start a business with a partner. It sounds like you were both born entrepreneurs, having all these side hustles throughout your life. So it's great that you were able to meet at college and create this business. When you were looking for products to sell, what drew you to this specific niche and products in particular?
We don't really have a particular big interest in beauty and personal care, but we're both numbers guys. We have an engineering background, so we just really took the approach of let's find something that just really works out on the books. Let's look at all the numbers and just kind of take a no emotion approach to everything and try and find something that we can really just grow long term in a really niche down area and kind of see where we could go.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. And there's so much opportunity in the beauty niche in particular. The majority of your sales come from Amazon FBA, but you do sell on some other sales channels. So can you walk us through the various income streams that you have?
Yeah, so Amazon FBA and Amazon is by far the largest majority of our revenue and where our profit comes from. But as we were building out the brand, we realized the importance in building out a website and capturing some organic traffic through people who have repeat customers because our products are consumable. So some people purchasing via Amazon, then when they come back to buy, they'd prefer to buy direct from us. So we built out a website, and then we also started selling on eBay and other platforms like Walmart.com. And those they serve their purpose. There's some revenue that comes from those, but that's all just organic traffic. And Amazon FBA is by far where the majority of our revenue is coming from.
Sure. So when you were looking for a platform to sell your products on, I know you said that you were sort of aware of Amazon FBA. What made you decide that that's the platform for you?
We decided on Amazon FBA because when we started this, we were full-time college students, and we were also very involved in some different programs at the school and outside of classes. So we had a really busy schedule during the day, but wanted to work on something at night. And Amazon FBA kind of fit in perfectly because we could do sort of the heavy lifting, building the brand, but then we wouldn't have to worry about the day-to-day fulfillment of orders and as much of the labor-intensive work. So it really fit in well with our schedule, and we built it with sort of like that passive income goal, which is exactly what it ended up becoming for us, is something that just continually generates passive income. So we didn't want something that we had to dedicate 40 plus hours per week to while we were growing it. And Amazon FBA definitely helped with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think of all the e-commerce platforms, Amazon FBA definitely has the most potential to be passive. You mentioned that this is your first business. It's grown exceptionally well over the years. Why have you decided that this is the right time for you to make an exit?
So really, it just came down to what we were passionate about. Like I mentioned earlier, when we started this one, it was just we took an emotionless approach and just really wanted to find something that worked from the numbers standpoint. And now that we've done that and we've built it out and we've gained a lot of knowledge and confidence in all these different areas, we want to take all that and apply it to something that we're a lot more passionate about and we can really take to that next level. With this business, we've really built it out to a level that I guess is about as far as we can take it within our skill set. And we're excited to hand it off to somebody who's going to be able to take it to that next level.
Yeah, you've certainly built a great foundation for a buyer to build off. Looking back over your journey with this business, considering how well the business has done, I'm sure there are some really great milestones that you reached or success stories that stand out in your mind. So what would you say was your biggest win since starting this business?
I guess really when it comes down to it, our biggest one is probably our first product. We're both kind of a little bit nervous getting into it, like you hear horror stories and you hear success stories and it's kind of like, where's it all going to fall? But when we launched our first product and we really started seeing the potential of Amazon FBA, it really just kind of built a lot of confidence and showed us what we can do if we double down and just really give it our all.
Yeah, since we started this business, we've been looking back at some other product launches. And along the way, we've had some product launches that didn't go as planned. And a lot of times we kind of chuckle and think, man, if that was the first product that we launched and it didn't go the way, or it went this way, I don't know how long we would have pursued this and tried to make it work. So, we did everything right off the start, which definitely helped being successful. But of course, there's some luck in any sort of business. And hitting the first product, still our champion, our hero product, was really kind of a good boost for us and a big win overall.
Yeah, I think getting that first product right is so crucial to the success of a business. So it's great that you were able to hit the ball out of the park first time round. I'm sure there were some things that you wish you could go back and change. So what would you say were the biggest setbacks or challenges that you encountered?
The biggest one that comes to mind, probably our third or fourth, I can't remember exactly which one, product family launch. We really put a lot of effort on the front end of it, really getting everything built out exactly how we wanted it. And we put a lot more investment in upfront financially as well on this one. And just super excited right up until the day it launched. And then it just completely flopped. And that was kind of like our first big failure. And so again, it was kind of one of those things that we had two paths where we could go on that. We could either double down and keep going, just take it for what it was and try and launch something else and get successful that way, or kind of go the other way, and just kind of taper things off. And after that one, we just decided, hey, if we missed on this one, only way to get through it is just to try the next one and keep going from there. So that's what we did.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there's so many ups and downs in businesses. Every business fails at some point. So it's great that you were able to pick the right path there and go on to bigger successes. Let's take a dive into your traffic now. So how are you driving traffic to your products? Are you using PPC campaigns or listing description SEO?
Yeah, so the only paid traffic that we're driving towards our listings is via Amazon PPC. We rely heavily on organic traffic as well within the Amazon platform. And then also, since we are niche down fairly well, even through Google searches, having good SEO on our Amazon listings, we can rank organically there. So really, it's a lot of organic traffic and then just having solid SEO and kind of the good foundation to all of our listings and our products that's bringing the traffic to it. We've experimented a little bit with other traffic sources, but again, that's kind of the next level that this business has to go to and past our current abilities. And with new ventures getting started and stuff, we're not dedicating that much time to learn these new things and kind of explore all the other options there are for traffic sources.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's natural for most Amazon FBA businesses to rely heavily on those Amazon PPC campaigns and that organic traffic. It's one of the main benefits of the Amazon platform is having that traffic base there. I see you've got quite a few social media channels. Are you quite active on those and are you driving any traffic there?
Actually, that was another area where we just really kind of dropped the ball. Like Nolan said, we're not big social media people. And I guess creatives is probably one of the areas that we've really struggled this whole time. Really good with the logistical stuff and anything numbers or math based, but the creative aspect is where we've really fallen short and where we're hoping the buyer can kind of pick up where we left off and really expand that part of it, because that's definitely a big opportunity area.
Yeah, social media can be a tough nut to crack. Let's follow on that train of thought. What do you see as the major opportunities that buyers can tap into to really take the business to the next level?
There's three main areas that we think the buyers could really take this business to the next level with. The first is through international expansion and getting into different markets. So right now, we only sell in the United States, a little bit in Canada and Mexico via the Amazon North America remote fulfillment program. But I would say every couple of weeks, we have a different buyer or distributor from either Europe or South America reaching out, asking how they can get our products in the market. And there's also demand for them on those Amazon channels. And again, we just don't have the knowledge or logistics built out to expand easily into those markets. But with a buyer having, if they do already have these logistics and channels set up, it would be a really easy expansion for them. Another area that a buyer could improve this business and really help grow profit margins would be via the Amazon Small and Light program. Right now, we do everything through normal FBA fulfillment, but a lot of our products are eligible for Small and Light, and there's a large savings on the fulfillment fee with that program. Again, we just haven't taken the time to set that up and get into the Small and Light program with these products. But if the buyer's already knowledgeable in Amazon, they're definitely going to be aware of that and should be able to branch into that pretty easily. And then lastly, what you had just mentioned with social media being a huge opportunity, I know for sure there's a lot of opportunity there, but we just lack the capabilities of creating content or really capturing good user-generated content and pushing the marketing through these social media platforms. But the right buyer definitely could capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah, I think those are all really great opportunities. Small and Light program, that's great. Yeah, easy for a buyer to tap into some low-hanging fruit there. And as you say, if they've got those logistics assets at their disposal, they can really hugely raise the profits of the business. So fantastic opportunities there. Speaking of logistics, let's take a look at how you get your inventory to Amazon. So can you walk us through what your supply chain looks like? How many suppliers do you have and where are they based?
So we have one main supplier that is based out of India, and then we use 4 or 5 additional suppliers in China for some of our other products. Over half of our purchasing goes through one Indian supplier, but everything is then shipped via air to our warehouse. We have our own warehouse. We don't use a 3PL at this time, and the cartons show up, and Levi and I, we will filter them into the Amazon warehouses as needed. The good thing about having mostly small products is that we have a lot of inventory space at Amazon, and when these shipments come in, we can top up right to 90 plus days of inventory at Amazon and kind of be hands off for the next couple months as far as that goes. So we haven't run into many supply chain issues over the past couple of years, which has been great. And being that we ship everything via air, that's been really a blessing, because I know there's been a lot of issues with sea freight over the last 2+ years. So we've been kind of blessed with the supply chain that we've got set up.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like the fact that you've had no issues with what everyone else has been dealing with post-pandemic. I think that's a real blessing. How long does it normally take for you to replenish your inventory from when you've ordered it to when it arrives at your warehouse?
30 to 45 days is pretty standard for most of our products.
That sounds pretty efficient. And how often do you find yourself placing orders?
So in general, we try and keep around 6 months worth of inventory on hand, and then we stagger our SKUs so we're not reordering every SKU at once. Maybe every 2 to 4 weeks, we're sending out a purchase order to a different supplier. So we've kind of always got something in the works. Again, it's just staggering these SKUs so that we don't have to replenish everything at once and have a huge capital purchase at one time.
Yeah, I think staggering is definitely the way to go. And that way, if anything does go wrong, at least you've got some products in stock. You're not completely stocked out. What are your current inventory limits at Amazon warehouses? Have you had any struggles with space there?
We're pretty blessed with having small products and being able to send the majority of it into Amazon warehouses immediately. We haven't run into any issues where we're over our maximum shipment quantity. And right now we've only used less than a quarter of our allowable space. So that's another huge benefit of having smaller products in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And the ability to drip feed into Amazon from your warehouse, I'm sure is very helpful as well. What does a typical work week look like for both of you when running the business? I know you said that you're aiming for a passive business from the start. So how many hours are you spending on the business? What sort of activities are taking up your time?
Yeah, we've kind of achieved that. It's really tapered down, especially over the course of the last 12 months as we've gotten a lot of our processes pretty ironed out. We've really put a lot of time into focusing on our new business and stuff like that. So tidying up existing stuff really allowed us to do that. But a typical work week, we'll go through, check the seller account, make sure there's no issues with our account health or anything like that. Customer service, we'll go through, answer any questions anybody has, all that good stuff. We'll check inventory, see if anything needs to be reordered, anything needs to be sent into Amazon. We have a PPC manager that we meet with usually once a week. But total, we're only putting in roughly 10 to 15 hours a week right now to keep everything going.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible considering the size of the business. You mentioned you got a PPC manager that you work with. Do you have any other employees or contractors that help to maintain the business?
Not really. We use a repricing service. That's really the only other one. Nolan and I are the only two permanent employees, and the PPC contractor is just on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah, fantastic. Given the fact that it's, for the most part, just the two of you working on it and it's 10 to 15 hours a week, I think that shows how streamlined you've managed to make all of those processes. With that in mind, what do you think the biggest challenge might be for a buyer when they take over this business?
So one kind of unique challenge that I would say, and a big challenge would be, there's a lot of opportunity for product expansion, but we've wanted to keep the brand integrity and make sure all of our products click and work together. And if customers come in to buy product A, there's also a reason for them to buy product B and C. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there that's within our niche, though, that you could expand into. But I think it would start to diminish the brand integrity and start to kind of spread out the seed too thin. So just really trying to maintain brand integrity and grow the brand and keep the customer brand recognition is kind of the main goal, and something that they might struggle with if they're just trying to grab any product expansion that they can get into.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting challenge. It's a fine line to walk, as you say. So it'll be an interesting challenge for the buyer to face as they sort of come to grips with the brand and learn the ins and outs of it. How much support are you willing to offer buyers to sort of help ease them into that process and teach them tricks of the trade?
I think we listed 90 days on there. We're really open, kind of providing whatever help the buyer needs to get up and running. And yeah, we're pretty open books.
This is our first business that we're selling, so we're just starting to learn about the different offers that we could be faced with or what buyers would be requesting of us. So we're totally open to hearing out if someone wants more support or less support. I think we just need to see what options are out there and what kind of aligns most with us and with the buyer and make sure it's a good fit.
Nolan's piece sounded way better too. So if you got to cut mine, that's perfect.
Perfect. Well, when it comes down to negotiating the sale of the business, would you be open to discussing something like an earn-out agreement?
Yeah, again, so that's something we're interested in hearing and discussing. We're definitely open to having conversations around it. Of course, I think anyone would say guaranteed money at more than listing price is what everyone wants, right? But not everyone gets what you want all the time. So we're totally open to hear whatever options buyers present us with and just trying to find the right fit. We want to make sure that we have a high confidence deal. We find a buyer that has the same brand vision as us and sees the long-term potential, because we've also built really good supplier relationships over the years. And we want to make sure that not only is this deal good for us and the buyer, but also for the suppliers that we've built these relationships with.
It's kind of our baby. So we want to see somebody take good care of it and take good care of our suppliers and really take it to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great approach. It's not just about the deal structure, it's about finding the right buyer. Would you commit to a non-compete agreement?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Well, as you've said, this is your first business and it's been a phenomenal success. A lot of people, their first business is normally a huge failure. So the fact that you've reached this point is fantastic. I'm sure there are many entrepreneurs who are listening who would love to replicate your success. So do you have any advice that you would give to our listeners that you wish you knew when you first started this business?
So one thing I would say, I know we said that this is our first business and it is successful, but there's definitely tons of ideas and attempts at business before this that either didn't work out or we had to pivot and shift towards something else. So honestly, the biggest piece of advice and what I think helped us over the years is just moving the needle every day. Do something little every day that's going to get you closer to what your long-term goals are. And whenever you hit those roadblocks, because I guarantee you're going to hit a roadblock at some point, just keep trying to move the needle forward. And in the long run, this is a long game and it'll work out.
And building off that, you're never going to be 100% confident in any decision you make. So as long as you're relatively confident, it's good to just try stuff. And regardless of success or failure, you're going to learn stuff along the way that's going to help you in the future.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice. As an entrepreneur, you got to have a thick skin. So, bouncing back, doing a little bit each day, fantastic advice, I think. And that takes us through to the final question of the interview. So, Nolan and Levi, if you had to put yourself into the shoes of a buyer, why do you think your business is a business worth buying?
I think our business is a business worth buying because there's both room for immediate improvement of the business through things like doing the small and light program. That'll immediately increase the bottom line and increase profit margins for a buyer. And there's also the long-term opportunities for the buyer, such as getting into those international markets, continuing to grow the brand and continuing to get that brand recognition, not only in the United States, but worldwide. So that's kind of the long-term vision that they have. And then short-term, there's these little things they can fine-tune that they've got the resources to do. And, there's a piece of the cake for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. It certainly sounds like a really great asset for a buyer to take over, and the right buyer should be able to take this business to new heights. Do you have any other details about your business that you'd like to share with our listeners before we finish up?
No, I think that about does it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for coming onto the show and giving us some insight into your business. It's been a fantastic conversation, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
Not a problem, Lauren. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, this is great.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing number 69152. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.